Melbourne Knights travelled to SS Anderson Reserve on Friday night to take on Port Melbourne in round 22 NPL Victoria action. The match was the second encounter of the two sides this season, with Melbourne Knights winning 3-1 in the reverse fixture at Knight Stadium. Melbourne Knights head coach Andrew Marth made two changes to his side that lost to Heidelberg United last weekend, with Marijan Cvitkovic promoted to the starting 11 and Jordan O'Doherty returning from suspension. The men that missed out were Ivan Grgic and Leo Athanasio, with the duo featuring on the bench. Goalkeeper Michael O'Farrell kept his spot in the squad, with Chris May still suspended from his FFA Cup red card. May had an FFA tribunal via teleconference during the week, with a decision about his suspension to be made hopefully by Tuesday. Midfielder Tomislav Uskok was deployed as a central defender on Friday night, with Marth opting to keep Grgic and fellow defender Kovacic on the bench. For Port Melbourne, head coach Eric Vasiliadis made three alterations to his squad that lost to Hume City 2-1 last Sunday. Nick McNamara and Luka Prevlovic dropped to the bench, while James Ricabene dropped out of the squad altogether after limping off in the club's midweek friendly with Melbourne Victory. Filling the void left by the trio were Chris Grossman, Nicholas Cruceratis and Stefan Negro. Calling the game for Knights TV, your commentator, Michael Huguenin.
Melbourne Knights in all black tonight as they get us underway, kicking towards the city end here at SS Anderson Reserve. Port Melbourne Sharks in their traditional blue and red. Port Melbourne moving out to the left, and it's Kamal Ibrahim with an early shot, and Michael O'Farrell makes no mistake. Daniel Vizovic, one of the goal scorers from the meeting between these two teams earlier in the season, with the free kick. Nice punch there from Gal. Was put back into the mixer by O'Doherty, and then another attempt from Andrius Sevic, and it's going to be a corner for Melbourne Knights. Milicevic just kept it in there. Here's Grossman. Now Honos. Central. Ricabini. Here's Ibrahim on the left. Tries to go inside. Wants the shot with his right foot. Eventually plays it wide. Honos. Chance to cross. He goes inside. He's got space. Shoots just over the bar. Here's Michael Doyle. Long ball bouncing, not necessarily well controlled, but Vizovic has found Alinejad, and Alinejad forces a great save from Stepyan Gal. A bit too easy for Port Melbourne, how Knights opened them up there. Nice pass from Daniel Vizovic, and Alinejad almost added to his 4 goals in the NPL Vic this season. Oh, and that's a poor challenge from Uskok, and he is into the book very early. It's the 10th minute. And Tomislav Uskok has received a yellow card. Short option on was Jordan O'Doherty. Vizovic is just going to pump it long. Buttle with the header, and it's just tipped around the post by Gal. There wasn't necessarily a lot of speed on the cross. Not a lot of power for Buttle to work with there. The Sharks pressing. Nice relieving ball there by Buttle, however. Played down by Cvitkovic to Vizovic, and then it's Andriusevic and O'Doherty linking up. Andriusevic keeps it. He's been forced wide. Cross. Ricabini gets there first. Plays it to Ibrahim, who's left it short. There was a touch in there by Doyle. He thought he got tripped in the box. No penalty. Definitely seemed to get to the ball there first, Michael Doyle, and his leg might have got clipped. Uskok. Tough work in midfield. Here's Torrens now. Pushing into the attacking half. He's just given a sniff to Cruceratis, but retained possession. Now a little drag back from Chris Grossman. Here's a Linajad wide on the left. Cross with the right boot. Gale is there, and it was Andrea Sevic diving in. He actually got a touch there first, but the ball was deflected the wrong side of the post for Melbourne Knights. As we are now in first half stoppage time. Both teams pushing late for the opening goal that they can take into the break. But there is the whistle for half-time. It remains scoreless here at SS Anderson Reserve. Now Port Melbourne, wide on the right. They're having to concede territory. But a chance now through the middle. It's Ibrahim and then Cruceradis. And here's Milicevic. He's outside Doyle. He's got past sliding challenge. He collected Milicevic. And there's no penalty. That is an interesting decision from the referee. Torrens. Svitkovic. Putting the ball into the box. Looking for Andrea Sevic. It's come to Vizovic. Now Suri. Switches left. Torrens. Nice feet to get around one. And then launches it toward the back post, and it's a header over the top by Andrea Sevic. Just 4 goals in the past 6 games for the Sharks. And Eric Vasiliadis' side, 2 of those past 4 goals have been own goals. Vizovic with the shot, it's claimed rather comfortably by Gale. Set piece comes in. Gale comes out, he punches. Vizovic from the edge of the box. He's lashed at it, but it's wide and high. Corner for the Knights. O'Doherty. Near post. Over Uscock. Flicked on header. It's a goal. Melbourne Knights take the lead, and a deserved one. It is Stipo Andrijasevic. We're into the 69th minute. Stipo Andrijasevic has scored his 4th goal of the season. Melbourne Knights take a deserved lead, 1-0 over Port Melbourne. They dominated the first half, both territorially and possession-wise. And now finally, after an hour of play, they hit the front. Honos under pressure. They've lost out here. Now it's Knights. Andrijasevic with the ball. Goes back. Needs some support. Suri drives it too high, doesn't get his head over it. Looks like we have Antun Kovacic coming on. The veteran central defender will line up alongside Tomislav Uscock. Port Melbourne attacking. Great tackle by Kovacic. Preljevic. Honos. Goes back onto his left. He's got Negro in support. Instead, he tucks inside again onto his right. Shot from Honos is straight down the throat of O'Farrell. It's the end of the night for Marian Svitkovic. Another good stint from him coming back from injury. They don't need to be passing it around in defence, Port Melbourne. They need to be getting it up the other end. Ball into midfield is almost a turnover. In fact, it's Timothy Patton. Shot coming from Andrijasevic. Tested Stepjan Gale. Was just about to say that it is Timothy Patton who has come off the bench, not Nicky McNamara. And we are going to have the 3rd substitution for Melbourne Knights. Daniel Vizovic coming off, and Ivan Gergic coming on to the pitch. Perhaps one final opportunity for the home team. Long ball into midfield. It's evaded a number of players. Comes to Cruceradis on the right. He's ducked inside. He's on the edge of the box. He goes down with a challenge. It seemed to be inside the box. No call from the referee. There were legs everywhere. There's a coming together now of Uscock and Cruceradis. O'Farrell thumps it long. O'Doherty gives chase. Melbourne Knights, remember, they're leading 1-0 here, looking for their first win in 5 games in all competitions. And there's the final whistle. Melbourne Knights win their first game in 5. Port Melbourne again, the team to turn their fortunes around. It was, of course, Port Melbourne that provided the first victory for Melbourne Knights earlier in the season, ending that 7-game losing streak. Tonight, just the 1-0 win. Stipo Andriusevic's header from a Jordan O'Doherty free kick separates the two teams. A return to form for Melbourne Knights. 2 losses in a row for Port Melbourne. Knights TV, round 22 action of National Premier League's Victoria. Michael Huguenin for Knights TV, and Melbourne Knights return to the winner's circle for the first time in 5 games. Something that they have definitely been looking forward to, and funnily enough, it came against Port Melbourne yet again. Of course, the team that ended their 7-game losing streak a while back in this season. I'm joined by Tomislav Uskok, and Tom, I guess to get that win, and against Port Melbourne, it must feel a bit funny, you know, you get to do the double over them and it sort of ends a bit of a poor run on both occasions.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, really. Some bad results and a lot of travel, so it's good just to get the 3 points, especially away from home. It was really a big 6-pointer for the club and for the team, so yeah, it's pleasing.
Yeah, I guess, you know, relegation is probably not all that realistic at this point, but you're still in the wrong end of the table, so to speak, so every point that you can pick up and against another team in that lower reaches of the table must be pleasing.
Yeah, like you said, we're thereabouts still, so you're never safe until maths, the mathematics are there, so it's just going to go out there and win every game we can, pick up as many points as we can, try to push up the table at the latter end of the season.
Stipo Andriusevic again getting the goal for you guys tonight and scoring the winner with the header there. He seemed really inspired after the goal as well, picking up the ball in all sorts of areas and trying to beat almost the entire Port Melbourne side.
Yeah, Stipo's been fantastic since he's come for us. He's been a real target man up front. Works his butt off all games, so it's good for him, really good for him to get back on the scoring sheet for us, get some confidence leading into the next few games.
And I guess it becomes pretty important over the next sort of month or so. You're going to have to finish off the league season, ensure that you avoid relegation, but also the Doherty Cup final coming up as well.
Yeah, that's really the big one we're looking forward to. You know, the club I think hasn't had any silverware for about 18 years or something like that. So it's going to be a huge priority for us to get fresh and really get the confidence up before that game, so we come into there buzzing and ready for it.
And finally, how important was it to grind out the result tonight? You dominated the first half. You were pretty much camped out in their half. To actually make sure that you get the 3 points, how important was that?
Yeah, it's really important. I think it was really important that we kept a clean sheet for the first time for a long time, So I think that was really the pleasing thing defensively, and we scored, a winner. So it's just really, really good, really happy.